An auto 100 comes up in about 2 or 3 minutes.
I don't do this. I'm gonna take it to permit, please. Oh my God.
Wow, that is sick.
On the modern cars, it's easier to drop the engine and subframe down so we can get the engine out with the drivetrain, the gearbox and everything. Instead of trying to pull the engine out the top and still having the rest of the stuff there, we find it easier just to drop it down.
So this is our tool station over here. Everything we're gonna need, for the most part, is here. All the parts are over there. Those are the new parts that we're gonna need. And then this over here is everything in our own little pochi of the parts that were taken off. So every nut, bolt, washer, everything's over there. So I'm not gonna pretend like I fitted this motor with vessel. Okay, I'm here, this is a ceremonial moment. I'm kind of just here to assist and help put the engine in. Because this is a client job and they're paying a lot of money for everything, I don't want to cock this up. This is not my BMW 3 to 8 that I'm going to go slide tomorrow. So we just decided to let the professionals handle it, but I'm here today to help. Maybe pass a couple of spanners, get my hands dirty a little bit.
If it goes up or down, if you still gonna be a bit.
So as big as this engine is, the engine bay's got enough.
Yeah, if you plan it well, you
If you
put
plan
everything
it
in
well.
there.
Yes. Because there's enough space where there needs to be space, where there doesn't need to be space. Because oftentimes if you just hack for the sake of hacking, you create space where you don't need space.
Yes. And if you hack, you always make a mess of it.
And this one's got enough space to fit the manifold in.
Yeah, we had the manifolds in until the last mock-up.
I see what you did with the mounts now. Nice, man.
Makes it nice and easy to fit.
So easy, because it's like a docking station.
Actually come a bit more this way. Then you have a bit more space there.
Oh yeah, plenty space this side now.
Advantage without having the manifolds on, we didn't have to loosen the steering column now. We have the
Okay.
manifolds on, you must just take the steering column off.
Oh, I see. So now afterwards, it goes on without the steering column as well.
Yes.
Okay, nice.
So you just slot it in place and slide on the studs. You'll have to put the jack straight. That's tilted my way. Then put the lever again front.
Take him up. And every time your parents tell you preparation is key, they weren't joking.
Retie all the mounts and start with the rest assembly.
Yo. Nice one. Wow. So this is the last time the motor's in now, eh?
Final time.
Check how low it sits, eh?
Everything looks right.
What are you checking for?
Just checking that everything's in the right place. I always like to double check it because we took everything apart, mountings, everything was powder coated, everything, so just make sure that everything is the right way.
Yeah, because even if it fits, it might be
Slightly skew or
slightly
something.
skew, yeah.
Because you might have swapped it left and the right mounting, stuff like that. So always just make double sure.
Because
This one is not easy because the one mount is much longer than the other one, but many cars is very similar.
Yeah, and if it's off by half a centimeter in front, it's 2 centimeters at the back. Or
Yeah,
whatever
but
it
as soon
is.
as you have a slightly skewed driver and you've got vibrations,
Yeah,
that's the biggest issue.
Much happening.
It is, yeah.
But if you take everything away, simplify it, this is what we're working on right now.
if
Then it
you
makes a
do
lot more
bit by
sense.
bit, it's lots easier. That's why many people get overwhelmed with how much stuff they have to do.
So what do you say to that?
Start bit by bit. It's the only way of doing it. But it's not an easy trade to get into to start off with.
What do you mean?
Because there's no real official training available. So everything is by trial and error. You have to learn yourself. Or you have to work somewhere to learn experience.
Well, you're talking about custom work.
Yes.
So you're saying there's nowhere to go for training on this type of work?
Nothing in South Africa now. So you have to.
Because this is like coach works, isn't it?
Basically, yes. But it's very difficult to start off with because you have to learn all the angles because many times the cars arrive, you have lots of issues from conversions, engines skew and stuff like that, and it causes so many other issues, vibrations and so on. People can't seem to figure it out until we start. Because the first setup I normally do the lasers to get everything centered and so on, to make sure everything is centered. But not everyone's got access to that type of thing to make sure it's centered.
And how did you start in the beginning?
Old ways, marking everything up, triple checking, measuring tapes and so on, making jigs to make sure it's exact in the center, and then you work from there.
So jigs, how do I make a jig? I would only need a jig if I'm going to do the job more than once, right?
Not necessarily. If you want to replicate, for example, suspension points and so on from one vehicle to another vehicle, say you want to put this suspension into an old vehicle, then you make a jig of all the mounting points of this, you put it over to the old vehicle and you build everything according to that.
It looks fucking perfect, man. It looks like a OEM setup to the max.
That's
Like I was at the VW factory the other day, and I think it was easier for us to put this engine than it was at the factory. Sure, because they've got setups like that there. It was interesting to see an assembly line.
Yes.
Everything is designed to slip in. It's designed, the whole thing moves the whole time. So just like we work now, this assembly line will be moving. So you've only got 30 minutes to fit the engine.
Yes.
You can't still be sickling like this or anything like that.
So they
but
do
just slip in.
Very similar to what we do now to try and help with our final assembly. We do sub-assemblies, and those sub-assemblies get fitted into it. So you do a whole bunch of parts together, and
Yes.
then a whole bunch gets fitted.
I couldn't believe what they did was they actually slotted the bottom off and the top off the
Yes.
car together. And there's jigs with poles and guide poles and stuff that just slip in like that.
Yeah,
Okay, so this was all assembled.
Everything is finished assembled. So we just slot it in place.
Yo.
This goes in that. There's a slot somewhere here.
I see him, yeah? That's right.
There we go. Okay. Now I can just fasten it.
Yes! That is it. I'm learning some tricks of the trade here. But the only way that you're going to know that this is going to work is if you've done this before.
Yes.
Because if we assemble this and you didn't know it was going to work, now this bottle touches against there and it can't go in.
Yes.
You have to disassemble again.
That's why we do so many, I could put it, pre-assemblies to make test fit everything. And why typically in a version like this, it takes 4 or 5 times for the engine to go in and out to make sure everything fits. So you don't have to now start cutting stuff and having to respray stuff and so on. So it's all fully assembled now.
And this is the Krisp radiator. Which radiator is this now?
Yes, this is the 3 to D4D Hilux radiator.
D4D Hilux radiator. Okay, lekker. Yo. Just like that, bro.
Again, a fairly old Krisp one.
So that's an aircon unit.
Condenser, yes.
Okay. Assembling the front now. All the same bolts are going in that came out. Also,
No,
the bolts are now getting wire brushed inside there so that by the time they get put back in, there's no issues. Some of the bolts, like that one over there, nuts and bolts, are getting replaced by new, same but just brand new.
Yeah, and stainless steel, so we don't have rusting issues. And it looks, for a custom build, it looks much neater. Because the problem with these original bolts is every time it loosen and fasten, then the paint chips off. So I changed them to these bolts, which you can never see any marks on.
Oh, I see.
These bolts are typically painted,
Yes.
and on off constantly you chip the edges and so on, and eventually they start rusting and then it looks terrible. So I replace all these bolts with
Stainless
stainless.
steel, okay.
this is what we call a T-bolt clamp. This is a much wider clamp.
Yeah.
You tighten this with a 10 socket, and once this is tight, it's tight. Even pipes without lips, we've many times had to do it in a breakdown situation, can even hold 1.5 bar.
Yeah.
With the lips and stuff on, I've tuned cars where we use these clamps for 2.5 bar plus, and they don't pop off. As long as your pipes along length is right and you're flexing your pipes and so on, then they don't pop off.
Because a boost pipe popping off is such a cuck thing. Because
It
when
is,
it
yeah.
happens, you're not sure that it's a boost pipe popping off. It sounds like your engine just blew.
Yes, especially sometimes in high boost, it makes a hell of a noise.
Yeah.
It's like a bursting noise. So
Yeah. Now, I used to hate it when it comes off, and you hope it's that because that's the easiest fix. But
is,
it could be something catastrophic.
Yes. So yeah, it's better having this done properly than having
Yes.
to.
Come off again. Just swap that out.
I must still build the shifter linkages and stuff.
Okay.
Because we only got the center console like the last day or
Yeah.
the day after it
Yeah.
left. So I can only do the shifter linkages I must still build. But we should have all the fluid and stuff hopefully in by Monday and hopefully finish all the wiring by Monday, then we will be able to start.
Okay. When it starts up, can I be here for the startup?
I'll make sure you're here.
Okay, awesome. So the engine is in now, most of it's fitted. Next step now is all the electronics, all the odds and ends, and then hopefully in the next couple of days we're going to get the car started. Then we're going to fit the manifold, finish everything up, take it back, put the car together again, and then it's wheel shopping time. So there's still a lot that must happen, but for now, the engine's in. Vessel's going to work his magic, and hopefully we're going to get this car started soon. Okay, let's start it up.
So quiet.
Like that noise is all exhaust noise.
Yeah. Like a rivet, but it's very loud.
Is it?
You can feel it in the ground. I can rev it higher than that, but your eardrum's not going to hold it.
What's that? 3Z. Sounds lekker, hè? Hilux body 3Z.
He mentioned something about the suspension, Anna. Is the idea to do the suspension immediately or later on, or what's the idea? Okay.
I think first exhaust.
Yeah.
Yeah, exhaust, and then obviously the rims you need before.
Yeah. So, do you guys want to quickly just hold a few rims there and see how it looks, or?
Yeah.
Can I mention quickly?
Which one is that now?
19.
It's also 20.
Oh,
The
okay.
19 won't fit on here. It's 5112.
Oh, okay.
The front is also lower than the back, so
Which is a plus.
yeah. It's kind of like Christmas shopping in a weird way.
Question though, with the 20s, if you, let's say you take it to robot racing, and you want to do a burnout, is it going?
Oh, is it going to do a burnout?
is it gonna wheels gonna split?
Have we got enough power?
Enough power. Because remember, this circumference is very similar to what those rims are, or these wheels are.
Somehow, I think the offset and the width of the rim just works as well. What's the possibility of running that exact same wheel in the front?
What's the possibility of you just giving us the wheels? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, guys. Check it out, Performance's page. Let your friends know. If you like the content, comment below and let me know what you think of the build so far.